Transforming Affliction into Awakening, the Beginner Bodhisattva's Guide to Severing Greed. Hello everyone, let's dive straight to the point. In today's deep dive interpretation, we're going to talk about a piece of material that is extremely profound yet amazingly down to earth. It comes from a special share by the Buddha Movement Association of Australia. This sharing takes us headfirst into the Buddhist classics to deconstruct how our minds actually work. To be honest, it will completely overturn your inherent perceptions of your own afflictions and troubles. Are you ready? Alright, let's get started right now. Have you ever wondered if the very faults we want to shake off the most, like greed or anger, could actually become unexpected fuel for our spiritual growth? Sounds a bit absurd, doesn't it? Completely counterintuitive, right? But this happens to be the core puzzle we are going to unravel today. Our roadmap for today's exploration is divided into roughly 5 parts. The fire of wisdom and the wood of affliction. Beware the lies of great untruths. Sharpening wisdom to sever greed. Why beginners must stay away from gain and fame. How to truly sow the seeds of Buddhahood. Let's jump right into the first part, the fire of wisdom and the wood of affliction. Here, we explore sharp contrasts between two types of bodhisattvas. First, let's look at the advanced wisdom practicing bodhisattvas. Their wisdom is like a roaring fire, extremely powerful. How powerful? They can directly draw the moisture out of their afflictions, turning them into dry firewood, which in turn makes their own fire of wisdom burn even brighter. You could say this is a remarkably high state of realization. However, for most of us beginners, the flame of our wisdom is still very faint, much like a tiny matchstick. Think about it. If you hold a little matchstick and try to light a live, moisture-absorbing wet tree, that is, our active day desires, what will happen? It will extinguish 100% of the time, right? Because beginners simply lack that level of heat to transform wet wood into dry firewood. Next is the second part. Beware the lies of great untruths. This serves as a stern warning against the extreme danger of pretense. The Surangama Sutra gives an exceptionally severe warning about what is called the great lie. Put simply, it means claiming to possess the wisdom to dry out afflictions when you clearly don't, claiming attainment without having attained, and claiming realization without having realized. Some people even use this as an excuse to cover up and rationalize their own greed. The consequences of this approach are, without exaggeration, catastrophic. It will utterly destroy and sever all of your roots of goodness. This serves as an alarm bell for us. On the path of mind cultivation, honesty and clear self-awareness are absolute bottom lines that leave zero room for falsehood. This brings us to our exciting third part, sharpening wisdom to sever greed. Let's talk about the battle between a dull knife and a wild, growing tree. The scriptures mention a term called the dull practicing bodhisattva. To put it plainly, your knife of wisdom is simply too dull. Close your eyes and picture the scene. You are holding a blunt knife that couldn't even slice tofu, trying to chop down a giant, living tree named greed. As you sweat profusely trying to chop it, the tree absorbs water and grows 100 times faster than you can damage it. You manage to hack off one branch today, and by next year, it sprouts 2 new ones. This explains why it always feels like a futile, exhausting tug-of-war. So what should we do? We can't just keep wasting away like this, right? The sharing from the Buddha Movement Association of Australia highlights an old saying, sharpening the axe doesn't delay the wood cutting. You can't run around like a headless fly, hacking wildly with a dull knife whenever a problem pops up. You must deliberately stop and spend time every day honing your sword of wisdom. Think about that. How could chopping wood for a whole year with the world's dullest knife ever compare to chopping for a single day with the sharpest blade? Seeing through the nature of afflictions and recognizing the evil fruits brought by greed is, in itself, the process of sharpening your blade. Once the sword is sharp, where do you strike? This is an absolute key point. Never waste your effort fighting endless twigs and leaves. Look at fame, money, gourmet food. All these various distractions are merely twigs and leaves. Once your sword of wisdom is sharp enough, you only need to do one thing: target and sever the core root, called greed, in a single blow. As long as the root is severed, no matter how lush or fancy those leaves are, they will naturally wither away. You will no longer have to painstakingly deal with every single endless desire one by one. Following this train of thought, we enter the fourth part: why beginners must stay away from gain and fame. This is quite literally a poison pill coated in sugar. The Mahara Nakuta Sutra offers a very practical and specific warning for beginners. It states that if you focus all your energy on pursuing so-called gain and fame, that is, worldly profits and benefits, you are in big trouble. You will attract dense, negative karmic retribution. It not only breeds greed, anger, and ignorance, but also causes you to lose true mindfulness. What's even scarier, it fosters extremely dangerous jealousy and deceit, ultimately causing you to lose the respect of others and even lose true wealth. Most critically, it can completely extinguish that already tiny, fragile flame of wisdom you possess. These are hard-won lessons that tell us if beginners are not careful in their practice, it is very easy to be ruined by material gain. As long as you are still coveting these things, you are actually constantly watering and fertilizing that tree of afflictions we just discussed. The next point is particularly fascinating. It's an immensely captivating paradox. Think about it. If you walk the path of non-greed and truly let go of greed in your heart, you will find that you lack nothing, and you might even gain unexpected abundance and harvest. Conversely, if you walk the path of greed, holding on tighter and remaining insatiable, you will fall into a state of perpetual scarcity where nothing is ever enough. In the end, you lose everything, failing to preserve even basic self-respect. This crazy mode of self-destruction stems, at its core, from a lack of wisdom to see through the law of cause and effect. Alright, having said all that, let's move into the most critical fifth part: sowing the seeds of Buddhahood. To look at the practical, actionable steps. First, we must understand a hard truth that hits right at the core: wisdom never drops from the sky. You cannot just sit there waiting to wake up one morning with a sudden epiphany. That's impossible. True wisdom must have an environment to grow in, one built upon deep respect, joyful offerings, and honest adherence to the teachings. In Buddhism, what is this called? It is called causes and conditions. Think about it. If your mind is already stuffed to the brim with greed, anger, and ignorance, you must actively clear out some space to create the conditions for wisdom to grow. As the saying goes, the Dharma does not arise in isolation. It manifests in response to conditions. Without proper soil, how can a seed sprout? So, what is the concrete framework for action? The Sutra of the Contemplation of the Mind Ground in Mahayana provides us with a very clear, four-step guide. Draw near to virtuous friends. Actively seek out and stay close to truly excellent mentors. Listen to the proper Dharma. Listen to genuine and truthful teachings. Contemplate with proper reasoning. Use your rational mind to deeply reflect on what consequences greed actually brings. Practice according to the Dharma. Faithfully implement what you have learned and understood into your daily life and practice. When linked together, these four steps represent the complete process of personally planting and nurturing that vital, powerful seed of Buddhahood. Alright, today's deep dive interpretation is coming to an end. To finish up, I'd like to ask everyone to honestly reflect on one question. Are you still swinging an unsharpened dull knife with your eyes closed, wildly hacking out that ever-growing tree of desires? Or are you ready, starting today, to plant that seed of true awakening through clear awareness and concrete action? The opportunity for change often lies hidden in this final, thorough moment of self-examination. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this breakdown inspired by the sharing from the Buddha Movement Association of Australia. I hope these mental metaphors bring you real inspiration today.